There are a lot of losers on the internet, a lot of people who just are absolutely goobers and terrible people who really should never be respected in any capacity. And one of those losers on the internet has been thrust back into the limelight for being an idiot and their entire life being just a stupid dumbass with terrible takes and terrible opinions and being a terrible person. And the person I'm obviously talking about is a YouTuber called Rev Says Desu. Now, I've known about this idiot for many years. I've seen so many of his stupid takes, his idiotic, rhetoric, his hateful rhetoric, his harassment of people, harassment of minorities, his takes on minorities, and his general hatred towards anyone that isn't, a white Christian nationalist, basically. And the reason why this idiot has been thrust back into the limelight is due to his takes on ICE. Any person with a functioning brain will be able to look at what ICE has done in the past 4 weeks and basically been like, hey, they've executed 2 people in the streets. Not only that, they've executed 2 innocent people in the streets, people who legitimately should never have been shot in any capacity in any way. But obviously, Rev Says Desu is attacking people who say fuck ICE and say defund ICE and say abolish ICE. Because why? Well, I think Rev Says Desu's take on ICE can be best summarized in one single image. And this is right here. So about 20 days ago, his dumbass posted an AI generated chivalry isn't dead. ICE police whatever the hell generated image. And so if you're using AI to basically make fanfics about ICE, you're just an absolutely terrible and loser human being. And so, of course, unsurprisingly, he is running, protection for ICE and trying to make it so that no one's hitting on his beloved federal government agency that is murdering innocent people. And the unfortunate thing about just online and the internet in general is that Rev Says Desu has largely been able to say all this terrible shit without any consequences. He's been able to just harass people and hate on people for his own financial gain and his own personal gain for many, many years. And it hasn't really ever, happened to bite him in the ass, except for recently. The biggest form of consequences that kind of got hammered down on to Rev Says Desu is his partnership with this company called Advanced GG has been ended. A lot of people were looking at Advanced GG and asking like, hey, this dude's a terrible human being. Look at what he said about anyone who isn't not a minority. How are you still working with us? Look what he said about ICE, who just executed an innocent dude in the streets, and how he's running flack for them and running protection for them and trying to discredit anyone. And they finally ended their partnership with Rev Says Desu. And now, obviously, Rev isn't going to go silently into the night, and he's going to try to take just as many people down with him and harass as many people as he possibly can. So the biggest thing that I've seen about Rev Says Desu is his attempt to kind of say, hey, Advanced GG, there's another person who is part of your company who is harassing you, is being a mean person, is trying to hurt me and my wife and my reputation. Isn't this grounds for being removed? Isn't this grounds for being kicked out of it? And this person obviously has good takes. Shockingly, Rev Says Desu sees a good take and feels like it's a shotgun to his face, where it's just the most insulting thing that someone could actually think for once in response to Rev Says Desu in any capacity. And the greatest piece of irony here about the fact that Rev Says Desu was mad about harassment is that his legitimate entire career is based on harassment. Let's go to his YouTube video and just look at all these videos talking about 2 different content creators, talking about Pokemon, talking about this VTuber, talking about this VTuber, talking about people getting what they deserved, and harassing game developers and stuff like that, talking about VTubers, talking about Gachi Yakuda, talking about more VTubers and all that stuff. Let's just keep on scrolling. Oh, YouTube got humiliated for defending someone, the most pathetic platform. It's just Twitch. Another interesting thing too is that this person obviously is running PR for Asmongold, because Asmongold, obviously is their Christ incarnate on the earth. And they have to defend him at every point. That's completely irrelevant. Hey, VTuber, shut up. Jealous VTuber tried to cancel this person. VTuber and Shane Crash Out ruined her life. Still going after Hassan. Which 3 straight videos of Hassan, which is kind of funny. Oh, another one of Hassan. So, definitely not harassment. IDub's not finished. She needs to stop tweeting. And so, if you just look at it, I'm only 3 months ago, in about eye test, 75% of his entire platform is just harassing people. And so the fact that he's fucking bitching and moaning about getting harassed when your entire life It's built on harassment. It's one of the most hilariously hypocritical and unself-aware things that someone has ever done in their entire life. And I think the fact that like he's even trying to get people punished for this is just one of the stupidest things someone's ever seen. But I kind of want to have a little bit more fun with this idiot and just point out some massive hypocrisies with his entire brand. And so one thing you kind of see about Repsis Desu is that in his many, many, many tweets, 25.8K to be exact, you'll find many tweets harassing trans people and saying that trans people are groomers and that they're mentally ill. But the greatest piece of irony here is that this is his fucking profile picture and this is his VTuber model. Now, just from looks at it, looks like a young anime woman. And so the fact that one of your biggest personality traits is attacking trans women, and then you pull up with this avatar and you're acting like people should take you seriously. Like, look at this. Look at you. What the fuck do you mean trans people are groomers? You're acting like a child woman when you're attacking these people. It doesn't make legitimately any sense in any way. And it's like, obviously, I'm not expecting Repsis to have any coherent critical thinking skills and thought processes. I just wanted to dogpile on this person because it's fun, and I like it when everyone is calling out a fucking idiot and a terrible human being. And because, Rev obviously is using his religion to nitpick and to selectively choose quotes and hate on people, I thought it'd be fun to do it in return. So let's just read some 4 quotes that I found from the Bible and see if Rev says Desu, agrees with these stuff. Because he obviously has used it to hate on many people, and if he believes that we should use a Bible quote and follow it specifically, like word by word, let's see if, Rev says Desu agrees with this. So the first one says, 6 days work shall be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doth work therein shall be put to death. And so, now, I'm going to say this to Rev says Desu. If you've ever worked on Sunday, this quote in the Bible says you should be put to death. So in your own mindset of saying we should follow the Bible to use it to hate on people, I'm using the Bible to hate on you. If you have worked on Sunday, the Bible says you should kill yourself. Now, me personally, I'm not saying you should do it. I'm saying that the Bible that you quote many of times says that you should do it. Another one is Leviticus. So this is one of the ones that people quote a lot too. It's about not mixing a lot of things like different animals or planting field with 2 kinds of seeds. And another big part about this is not wearing clothing of 2 different types of material. So Rep says Desu, if you ever wear any clothes of 2 different materials, you should never do that again, because once again, the Bible that you quote says you shouldn't. And if you, once again, use the hate on people, you have to follow this word by word. This one is a fun one. It basically tells you how to buy and sell slaves and how to transfer them down to your children. And the only determinant of who should not be slaves is just fellow Israelites, or at least not ruthlessly. In Rev says Desu's usage of the Bible, I think we should bring back slavery, because obviously if it's described in the Bible how to do it, obviously it's something that it wants us to know how to do, and therefore we should bring it back and then be able to do it. And the last one is in Deuteronomy, and I know this one's kind of a shit show of every just random regulations and doesn't really make sense. But this is kind of just on a point that I touched on a little bit earlier, which is that the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. And then once again, the greatest irony is the fact that once again, Rev says Desu has a VTuber model that looks exactly like a woman. And if we are using the Rev says Desu method, then he is consistently doing an abomination to his own God. And so I kind of wanted to just prove a point to Rev says Desu, who uses the Bible quote all the time to hate on people, how easy it is to just shine it back in his face and then completely just dismantle his usage of his religion there, because your religion says you're supposed to love people and then you use it to hate people. And that's why the phrase "there's no hate like Christian love" is consistently flying around and becoming more and more used, is because dumbasses like this use their religion in this way. And so I kind of just wanted to jump on the hate train for Rev says Desu. You love it when your ops are just being hated on and getting kicked with a bunch of boots into their face. I wanted to jump in this pile and keep on kicking too, because once again, I've known about Rev says Desu for far longer than I ever would have wished, and I've never seen a good take from that guy's voice, from that guy's account or whatever. And so, just to conclude, Rev says Desu is an idiot, is a dumbass, is a hypocrite, and is just stupid. Just an idiot. And it's shocking to me that anyone trusts this person's opinion. And so if there's anything that you should take from this, is that Pork Found in Kitchen, Rev says Desu is a dumbass. That's really all you got. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.